Hey there, everybody. Welcome to, I guess, what is a NCIS mega review. We've got season 18, episode 4, episode 5. We
Yep.
have Coco Vanderwolf here for emotional support.
Poor Mcgee, what is gonna happen? Yeah, we got Coco here to help us through this because this was a really crazy episode. The episode before, episode 4, lots of good stuff in there too.
Yeah, I'm really satisfied in a lot of ways. Not that I'm satisfied by the idea of Mcgee having like a possible death experience here or anything, but he's gonna live, right?
I feel like, yes. I mean, is the show really going to get rid of Sean Murray like episode 5? I mean, probably not, but I can understand why people might be worried because we know that Maria Bello is leaving in like a couple of episodes, so things happen.
We've got a lot to get into here, too. Oh, I mean, a lot, but
Yeah.
before we do, subscribe if you enjoy this video. You know, we are here talking about NCIS all season long, navigating you through the Beltway burgers and the kidnappings and all these other shenanigans.
Also, make sure that you go over to our Instagram, which is Matt and Jess TV, and follow us over there if you just want to kind of get to know us a bit better. We got 3 little additions to our family this weekend, and we have pictures up over there.
That is a tease. Well, anyway, with that,
Okay, we got to get to the meat of it right away.
Yeah.
So, we've known for a while now that Gibbs was going to shoot Mcgee multiple times. We didn't know why. We weren't sure. I mean, there was lots of theories that were sort of like, you know, Mcgee was brought in on the op. Maybe he knew what was happening. Maybe it was blanks. Now we know he really got shot.
yeah, I really liked a lot of this payoff. Like, I thought this
Oh,
was
yeah.
legit good. I thought that we were going to be building up towards something that was just sort of kind of like, wah, wah, okay, Mcgee is going to blow Gibbs cover or something like that. But here's the poetic thing. Gibbs saves Mcgee by almost killing Mcgee.
Yeah, or I mean, if they're actually going to kill Mcgee, which I truly don't think so, so let's not all hit the panic.
Yeah.
But I mean, how bad would that be for Gibbs mentally that he has accidentally killed him by trying to save him from getting killed? I mean, Gibbs has held on to a lot of dark stuff, but he has last season, a couple seasons, he has been like opening up more and kind of growing a bit more with the group. But something like that, I don't know how far that would set him back.
I just feel like I'm already living in a world where Mcgee survives. Like, I am just putting that out there, mostly because Stephen Frank, how sad do you want people to be that not only would you be writing out Sean Murray, but you would be killing him off because his own boss kills him to try to save his life? That is the most depressing scenario of all time.
It is, but, and this is not what I want. I clearly don't want
Yes.
Sean Murray to leave the show. But if he has to die, if Mcgee has to die to move ahead Gibbs's story, whatever way that would have to move forward, I can let go of characters. I don't want to, but I can. And I honestly don't think that that's where they're going. You guys can't give us this really delicious, amazing episode with Mcgee and Delilah out in Bahamas, and then you're going to kill them in the next one?
This is just
Come
mean.
on.
It's just too mean. And I think either way, it's true. There is good story to tell because there's a lot of story that would come out of Gibbs mourning one of his own agents that he shot.
Yep.
But I think there's also really good story where if you're Mcgee, I'm sure you would more than understand why Gibbs did what he did in that moment to save him. But
It's true, but he's also, there was this moment that I think might be giving some of you guys a bit of the scare, like it's giving me the scare too, of that he might be dead. I don't think so, but that he might die. We know that Gibbs is an amazing shooter, like he doesn't miss sort of thing. Then they had this moment where he was like calling in to be like, guys, give me the coordinates of sort of like how high is this tower? What is the wind, so that he could, precisely snipe. And it seems that he's like nicked the femoral artery. And I mean, that is an artery that is very difficult to sort of come back and heal up. And I mean, even though he's through the surgery, he's still not out of the woods. So I don't know, man. They really focused on that. That gave me this moment where I'm like, oh my goodness, are they actually... Is Sean leaving?
I will say I appreciate that they made it so that Gibbs is not perfect, because
I agree.
every crime show out there, they've got like oh, I can kill this person in this way and I leave no mess behind whatsoever. Gibbs, he is not Superman as much as he has, like, I don't know, I feel like his cape is probably that uniform he wears all the time, but, he's not perfect.
The other thing is because they did put in that scene of him sort of like, what's the wind, what's the this? We all know that Sean is probably not leaving the show. Probably. But because they put something like that in there, it does sort of actually give us all pause. And that's really hard to do after all these seasons of running the show, to actually make us worried about a main character shot in the middle of a season. So it's not even like this is the big end to the season or the premiere or a really big episode. It isn't even sweeps yet. It is like the beginning of January.
Congratulations, NCIS. You go off the air for like a really long time, and then you come back and send everyone into a panic. By the way, did we need both of these episodes over the course of one night? Because I don't think we did. I'm just saying.
I agree. I would have actually liked to have had just the Mcgee and Delilah one on their own sort of night, because everything else that has happened in this other episode is kind of overshadowing what a good episode that was. Like, it was so good. It made me feel like I was in like an Agatha Christie type book, but it's like I'm watching it unravel on TV. It was nice to see a little more of their relationship and kind of the idea of like, oh man, we've been together all this time, and here's this spicy couple over here who's also been together a really long time, and what's happening with our relationship. I mean, I've been wanting to see Delilah back a long time. I know you guys have too. It was a great episode.
It reminded me a lot of this British show I like called Death in Paradise, where, it's set on a really nice island. It's one of these sort of things. Everything is like 80% better when you set it in like Hawaii or the Bahamas or like any tropical location. Like, that part of it added a lot. There was so much fun stuff in there. And it's so weird because you could tell from the way like the episode 5 started, where they sort of like replayed the end of episode 4. Like, clearly the writers didn't think these were airing the same night either. Like, they sort of repeated themselves for about 5 minutes in between.
Yeah, it's true.
But yeah, episode 4, it's one of those episodes where, if you're really just bored or it's raining outside and you just want to feel good, just put on Sunburn, which ironically is the only time you ever said sunburn and feel good in the same sentence.
No, it was great. This is an episode that I will go back and watch multiple times. I really enjoyed it.
Can we, I'm saying I want Sean to leave NCIS, but if he does, the only way I will ever accept it is if it is like a Mcgee, Delilah, Capers in a tropical location spinoff.
You don't want him off being a novelist?
It feels like that's a lot of sitting there and watching Mcgee type. I love the random, here's the one person who's magically a fan of Mcgee in the tropics. There's like a couple really funny moments that I think are going to get lost from these 2 episodes.
Yeah, and there was a lot of nice callbacks in this episode as well. It was a really well-rounded episode. I really liked everything about it. I enjoyed the mystery of it all. I enjoyed the crime of the week kind of thing. And it was nice that it was sort of mostly about the 2 of them. Yes, we had the rest of the team doing other stuff elsewhere, but it did feel kind of like it was a mystery on the island. It was cool.
Yeah, and I'm glad they made sure they brought Delilah back for episode 5 as well.
Yeah.
Because, in CIS, they have this tradition of sort of just making you forget that certain people are a part of the world because they don't bring, like, poor Jimmy Palmer's family is just up in, I don't know, witness protection or something at this point.
What about their twins? We saw them as babies, and then we saw them in the Ziva episode in a photo when they were toddlers. Like, how old are they going to be the next time we see them? They're going to show up and be teenagers.
Listen, Jimmy was taking care of them because when you were Jimmy's family, you disappear into a void and you're never seen or heard from again. Yeah, all of that was good, and I like how they sort of found a way to incorporate all the team in a different sort of way in episode 5, where you had Bishop being kidnapped, and they remembered that Odette trained Bishop.
Yeah, I was waiting for that. That's what I thought was going to happen. When I saw her on the ground, she's kind of looking all rough. I'm like, oh, she's just going to get up and do what she needs to do with this. There's going to be a way for her to get out of this. She's definitely not on that plane.
No, I appreciated that. I never believed for a second that Bishop was dead.
No, and I never believed that she got on that plane. I just didn't. That was one that I was like, no, we already know that she's been trained really well by Odette. She's getting out of this.
Yeah, and it was just good to sort of have a throwback there.
Yep.
To see how much Torres was worried about her. That was kind of hit me a little bit in the feels here.
It was nice to see a sort of a little bit of that back and forth again, and kind of getting back into the flirtiness of it and the worry of it. I've been really missing that ever since we got the whole "you're like my sister," and I was like, oh, cold water. It's kind of picking up a bit. And I mean, really intense situations like that are going to do that.
Yeah, and we're kind of venturing into uncharted territory now moving forward. We've spent so much time, like, deep in the past. We jumped ahead 3 months in episode 5. I cannot do the mental gymnastics here of trying to figure out, okay, where was this episode set amidst last season or whatever, but I know we're getting to the present soon.
It was such a great wrap-up of this whole Fernell story. And whoever it was in the comments that said that the daughter and the father were somehow involved in this, you deserve a pat on the back, because you are the MVP that figured that out. I had no idea. I wasn't sure about that. And it absolutely came back into play. So this is for you. You were right.
I have one question here. If you're Merriweather, who's this big bad, mega drug dealer, why you got your daughter out there on social media, like, posting stuff, and like you got to be a little bit more discreet here, man.
Probably because he wanted it to things need to flow a little normally.
Yeah, there were 2 questions I had in this episode. That was one of them. The other was, here, Mcgee, put on a hat. You're Toby now. Like, yes, I understand that you could probably get away from it but even Mcgee was kind of like, yeah, I don't know about this, man.
The other thing that was also a little bit weird is that Merriweather was left alone with Bishop, that he was just like, yeah, I can take this federal agent and just throw her on a plane. I know he was still being demeaning, being like, oh, I've got this girl here, whatever, but just the same, she's trained to be able to deal with you. No bodyguards around. You're supposed to be super powerful.
I wish we had more Merriweather. Like, as much as we got this arc and it was really good and satisfying. It's not that I like Merriweather. He seems like a total tool, but I think we need more build-up with the villains sometimes. Like, I need more time to just hate them so I can celebrate them when they're gone.
Yeah, I almost wish that there was a little more sort of seeing him and his operation, and having Toby actually meet him, and sort of working even further deep undercover, getting that close to him.
I was at least not. I was happy that they also brought Vance out from wherever void Vance occasionally goes to on this show.
Yeah, and it was nice to see that he was involved. He knew it was the 2-man operation, him and Gibbs.
I think that was what was so good about this, is like it all more or less made sense.
Yep.
We got a lot of characters having something to do.
Yep.
There's like serious emotional stakes now, where if you're Mcgee and you survive, like, how do you get past your boss shooting you, even if it was for a good reason?
I think that he will forgive him. I mean, Gibbs saved his life. So I know maybe he's going to be a little bit pissed. He's going to be, I don't know how far ahead they're going to end up sort of jumping when he's, A-okay out of the woods, but he's going to have a while to go through like physical therapy and kind of, he got shot in a couple places, one's in the leg. I mean, it's going to take a bit of time to recover from that. So I'm assuming that there'll be a little bit of a time jump, little bit of forgiveness time.
Here's the most important question of all.
Thank you for not letting me blow up Gibbs. Is there a card for that?
I don't know. Mcgee should make one.
Yeah.
That's what really should happen here. But what's gonna happen to Beltway Burger now? Like, it's like, what happens to Los Pollos Hermanos on Breaking Bad? It's like,
I know.
who's gonna have a Beltway day now? Like, there's like one like poor innocent.
Nobody needs to have a Beltway's day. They were killing people.
There's like one innocent fry cook who is like working at one of these who is just like hating their lives now because they're unemployed. That's all I gotta say on that.
Goodbye, Beltway Burger. Thanks for nothing.
That should also be on a card. Thanks for nothing. But, okay, we got to hear from you guys on a lot of this. There's so much to go into here. What did you like about these episodes? Are you 99% Mcgee survives? 95%? Give us your percentage chances here.
Yeah.
And if you enjoyed this video, share in the comments. Give us a like. Support us further as well. We have links to the store, our Patreon. Check out our Instagram, as Jess mentioned earlier. And we'll see you here next time.